Hey, it's Soleil, and this is episode 85 of the Orange Pill Investor. And today I want to talk about the first question that normies usually ask when I'm trying to orange pill them. And that question is, what is Bitcoin backed by? And the insinuation there is that it's not backed by anything, and they know damn well it isn't. So they kind of feel like it's an I gotcha. This little, oh, what are you gonna say about it? And so I love to answer this question in my favorite way of answering questions, which is by asking a question. So when I'm asked this question, the question I ask back is, what the hell is your money backed by? Because it ain't backed by a damn thing. So I live in the U.S., so let's talk about U.S. dollars, but I'm sure whatever shithole country you're from, your dollars are worth less, even less than United States dollars. So the U.S. dollar hasn't been backed by anything since 1971, when we defaulted on our dollars. So if you're worried about whether money is backed by anything, then what do you use instead of dollar bills? You use dollar bills. Why do you use dollar bills? Because to a certain extent they're useful. They're useful because everybody that you encounter is so familiar with them that they are willing to accept them because they know they can trade them to someone else for some crap that they want. If you grow corn, but you want to buy a car, and you're like, okay, hey man, I'll give you 17,000 ears of corn, and the guy's like, dude, I don't even eat corn. Then you got to find somebody else in between that will, you know, trade the corn for the car and the no, you just use dollars. So dollars are useful. Dollars have utility. That's why dollars are useful as money. So, but people will say, okay, well, gold, even if dollars were still backed by gold, only 10% of gold's value is from its actual use in jewelry and electronics and all that crap. So 90% of gold's value is not backed by anything. It's not backed by jack. It's just useful. So if something is useful, people will use it. And we've run this scientific experiment over and over and over again throughout human history, where somebody discovers that something might be useful as money. Some cultures used seashells. People have argued about whether we should use gold as money in the past versus silver. We don't use silver anymore, and we don't use frickin' seashells anymore because they're less useful than gold was. So you run the scientific experiment, and somebody's like, hey, we're going to use these seashells, and then somebody else is like, bruh, we can manufacture seashells, or we can go over to this beach where we know a shit ton of seashells are, and then they can just flood your economy with seashells. Or you can just mine, you can mine more silver out of the ground than you can gold. So silver sucks as money compared to gold, and it will never change. So gold has always won the scientific experiment because it has always been harder and more useful than every other form of money as long as humans have been in existence. So that brings us back to Bitcoin and why anybody would want to use it as money, because it is now the hardest money that has ever been discovered by humankind. And that science experiment is being run right now, and Bitcoin is eating gold's lunch. If you sit here and pull up a chart and showing gold's value compared to Bitcoin is eating gold. Bitcoin is like the dragon from Lord of the Rings, friggin' Smog, just eating and hoarding gold. It's just gonna hoover that shit up like a vacuum cleaner until Bitcoin has absorbed all of gold's utility value. So basically 90%. And gold will just have its little 10% use case left. That's what gold will be worth eventually. So what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin's a protocol, and you can use it if you want to. It's the hardest money ever discovered, so you'd probably be wise to use it. You can pay for your coffee in dollars, but anything more than what you need in an emergency is going to maintain its value better stored in Bitcoin. So the answer to the question of what is Bitcoin backed by is really what is your money backed by? Because Bitcoin doesn't need to be backed by something weaker than itself. Bitcoin is the hardest money, therefore everything that's weaker than Bitcoin is looking to Bitcoin to back it. So Bitcoin doesn't need to be backed by dollars or by any of these use cases and jewelry and all of that ridiculous crap. It only needs to be useful, and it only needs to be more useful than gold. Whatever money is more useful eats the other money. That's how it happens time after time after time throughout human history. So Bitcoin doesn't need to be backed by anything. Your shitty money needs to be backed by Bitcoin. And I think I'll leave it there. Be good, y'all.